Okay, so it's Sunday evening, and I wanted to explain why I blocked my cousin on Facebook. It was honestly a knee-jerk reaction, but it wasn't because of who he voted for. It was his response that was so childish and so irritating that I just was like, you got to be kidding me. So before I tell you what he said, let me just get into it. Okay, so basically, I thought he had voted for Kamala Harris. I was under the impression that he had been doing a lot of research and really looking at all the candidates and really trying to understand and find his place in this whole thing, and that he really did a good job of weighing the pros and cons of everything. And so after that, he came to the decision that his so-called protest vote was going to be for something instead of against something, right? And I thought that was great. And I was going to call him and tell him how amazing that was. So basically, I had put, I guess, some post up on social media. It was not in any way negative to him or anybody else. In fact, I think if I remember it correctly, it was about my mom talking family members into voting for Kamala Harris. And it was a positive story. It's a positive thing because I had thought he did vote for her. And he felt the need to send me a very long message on that he left the group because he thought I was targeting him or something like that. But then he went into this big long reason about why he voted for Jill Stein. And I sent him a big, long reason why I thought that was incredibly selfish. Look, in my opinion, Jill Stein is a total freaking grifter. What legislation has she ever passed? What does she do between, say, today when the election's over and the next 4 years when she goes to run again? What is she actually going to do to make the world a better place? What kind of legislation or initiatives is she moving forward? None. Zero. She's a grifter. She comes onto the scene, takes votes away from Democrats, and gets money. And I don't know, this is total conspiracy theory, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of that money is from Russia. But anyway, I don't know that. I'm just saying that why not? It could very well be true. So I don't think that's somebody who did their homework, right? And when you look at what is on the line, you have an opportunity to go into a booth and make a statement about who you are. It's your own private vote. I didn't ask how he voted. I didn't want to know, actually. I really wish he hadn't told me. But he went to his long reasonings why, and I went into my long reasons why I thought it was incredibly selfish. You don't want my opinion? Then don't send me a dissertation on why you voted the way that you did. Keep it to yourself. So I gave him my opinion. You know what he said back to me? And this is where it was. He said, clearly we're not going to agree on this, so I just need you to respect my boundaries. And so we're not going to talk about that. Okay. Listen. You don't say respect your boundaries until you actually lay out your boundaries. All right? That is the stupidest freaking thing I've ever heard anybody say. You just need to respect my boundaries. I don't have a problem I'm talking to Republicans and Trump supporters. You see me physically talking to them. As long as people are respectful, I have no problem. I want to have dialogue. I want to make sure the next pandemic that comes around because it's mismanaged, or when the FDA, when people are getting sick on pork because there's no longer a credible FDA to inspect foods, when they completely demolish the Department of Education and the environmental, and we just have basically a wildfire goes through California, and just like Trump said, I'm not going to give him a dime of money. You would vote for somebody who literally says he would not give California any fire money. He said that to people in California, and they freaking cheered. They cheered that the president, the person that they were going to vote for president, said to them that he would not give any money to the state if there was a wildfire. No FEMA money. This is who you either voted for or voted third party to, in my opinion, support. That was where your protest vote should have gone to the person who's going to protect our country and our economy and our relations with NATO. And I just cannot believe where we are. I watched this movie called Idiocracy years ago. Worst movie I ever saw, but so much truism, right? There was so many things about it that was like, this could really happen. If you haven't seen this movie, Idiocracy, you guys should really watch it. It is a terrible movie. It's very painful to watch because it's not done well, but it is honest to God, like a real look at like how uninformed people are. Obviously, the person who's telling you that the news is fake does not want you to watch the news. It doesn't seem like this is like a stretch, right? Like they don't want you to be informed. There's never a scenario where somebody said less information is good. You should trust yourself to be able to read or watch or listen to NPR or get the facts or whatever and discern what the difference is. But I talk to people and they just go down these rabbit holes on social media. It's just frightening. It's frightening. They did a study. They put Republican agenda and Democratic agenda, and people just voted. Over 70% overwhelmingly supported the Democratic agenda. Then they went out and they said, oh, these are Democratic agendas and these are Republicans' agenda. And people overwhelmingly did not support the Democratic agenda. There is clearly a target to dismantle any type of organization like the Democratic Party that is for the people, that wants to like create a safe environment and wants to have a country where all people can get a fair break, a fair chance. There is clearly a push to dismantle that kind of thinking. And even though people want it, they keep voting against their own best interest. So I know that whatever shitty comments I might get on Facebook or whatever, I know on the back end, people are coming to me privately saying, thank you for saying the words that I want to say. I wish I had the courage. Or people said, you know what, I forwarded your video, one of your videos to a family member privately. And so I know that there are millions and tens of millions of people who feel the way that I feel. This is not a microcosm. This is a bigger issue. Look, if you're a person who is voting against women being able to have agency over themselves, if you're voting against clean air and clean water, you want to dismantle the EPA, if you're voting for a party where the leaders of that party are saying that women should not vote, that they should repeal the 19th Amendment, this is what the leaders in this party are saying. And just because, a segment of the population who doesn't believe in looking at the news doesn't believe it, what a surprise you don't believe it, because you don't believe in looking at the news. I don't know. My point is why this all started. I did not, and would not have blocked my cousin because he voted for Jill Stein. Because this whole thing is about dialogue. It's all about having honest dialogue. I think the only way we're going to move forward as a country is to get on the same informational page. If you're not willing to dialogue with me, and if you're not willing to have a conversation with me, then no, you don't need to be on my Facebook page. It doesn't mean I blocked you out of my life. Anyway, that's the reason. I do want to have respectful conversations. And I think if you can't handle that, then you shouldn't have told me who you voted for, and you shouldn't have given me a dissertation on why you voted for that person. So anyway, that is the end of the story. So that's the sitch. All right. Hope that helps. Bye.